So I need you guys to share with me what we learned so far. Okay, so our class is Code to School Ruby, the third one, and just shout out, right? What have we learned so far in week one? Okay, someone click on week one and read for me what we learned in week one. We did the restaurant website, yeah. So we did what? Well, we did learn a little bit about MVC. We learned about routes, right? What else? You know how to start. You start out. You know how to use active record where query, right? It's a class method. Active record dot order, right? You also know how to set flash. So that is action controller flash. We all understand this, right? These are all good concepts. And then in week two, what did we learn? Authentication from scratch. So it means you know how to use the hash. You know how the bcrypt gem work. You know how to use hash what? Secure password method. And you also know how to create a form and use strong parameters. So this is params dot require permit, right? So, and then what else? I think in the lab you also learn how to do Facebook login. Some of you get there. So you can visit that one if you need to know how to do Facebook login. And there's another thing is about session. Is that right? You know how to store username in session. Note that Flash is a special thing also in session. Okay, so by week two you can build some standard web application. In week three, unfortunately, we did the Kupat event, so I did not give you a lecture on iOS on test stuff. Normally, it's an amazing lecture, but there's a video if you want to watch. There's some past videos, but we also learned in general what is RSpec, right? And we did a little. You did the homework, and what else did we learn in week three? And just consolidate all the past knowledges, right? Knowledge and concepts, right? So in week four, what did we learn?
JavaScript, Ajax.
So we learned a little bit of how the whole application.js, you require a different file. So you did learn a bit of JavaScript and Ajax. Did you learn a little bit about the WebSockets? So you did the lab on WebSockets, the real-time app. However, it's the ugly, the simple way that you still have your application, controller, code, JavaScript. And so that's why week 5 we learn action cable, more about action cable, how to use action cable with sockets in a better way. You can just do channel and the JavaScript file, right? Time really flies, isn't it? Right? And what else did we learn in that week? Background jobs. Remember when I show you when you send a message, and let's say if you do this as a background job to broadcast, I show you if I sleep 2 seconds, 3 seconds, the background is done in the but the job is done in the background, right? The user doesn't have to wait. And after background jobs, what did we learn in that week? What was the lab exercise?
Is it like one chat room? One room?
Yeah, so we did the one room. It's a chat room with more complicated stuff. I need to update this website. Okay, so a little bit about background, but then week 6, we learned a lot of stuff. We have a crazy fast lecture. It's not about this one, unfortunately. I decided not to teach time zone, multiple language and stuff. But can someone list me for me what we learned in week 6? Oh, come on, you all forgot? Okay, so there's a playlist of all the lecture so far, and in week 6 It's actually a lot of stuff. You remember I explained about database, um, active action mailer, right? And then deploying to Heroku, different remotes. And then in Heroku, we look at the logging add-ons and error tracking. Logging is using Papertrail, and error tracking using Rollbar. You can search those. When you deploy your app and you want user to use, make sure you pay attention to this lecture. Okay. And in the lab, week 6, we also learn how to use Mechanize, right? How to build a gem. So let me update the note here, right? What did we learn? Just database, mailers, deployment, Heroku, logging, error tracking, and also building a gem. Also network requests, crawling, crawl network crawl websites with Mechanize, right? And some of you realize that Mechanize only make the HTTP request and save the HTTP response. What are you guys doing there? Right? There is one problem. Does anyone? There's one limitation. It cannot do something that you may want to do. It doesn't run JavaScript. So if you run jQuery on that page, let's say if you want to visit that page and you want to run jQuery on it, you cannot do that because Mechanize just only get you the response. However, it uses Nokogiri and it can get the links, the text, and anything you can find. However, if you want you to use JavaScript to get dynamic content, then you have to do something else more. And if you can check out their, I didn't but you can check out their water gem that actually can run JavaScript. Okay. Now in week 7, last week, what did we learn? Right. I give you the lecture time for the project. Is that right?
Yeah.
And we work on the project. We talk about anything that's blocking you. In the lab, I hope that we all learn a little bit more about file upload with carrier wave, right? Understand carrier wave is just a library. It stores files to a destination, and you can tell carrier wave to work with any backend, file storage, or Amazon storage. It cannot. If you don't like Amazon, there will be add-on that save files to Google Drive, Dropbox, Microsoft, just different clouds. So AWS simple storage as a service, right? S3 is the easiest. So we learn how to do that using the carrier wave AWS gem. It's better than the fog gem because fog is just a lot more complicated. And we also talk about what else in that lab? Image resizing, right? Image handling. You can use that to create multiple image version, and that's through you have to either use Image Magic. You have to install Image Magic or What's that? Graphic Magic. Usually Brew install Image Magic or just download it and install on Ubuntu or Windows. It's the same. The next is, and then you use the Ruby Mini Magic Gem. It's better than the R Magic Gem, which is just older and it just uses more memory. Okay. And you know that if you need to handle multiple images for each resource, then just create a new table, right? If a product, you can have many photos for a product, and you just create that model. So week 8, I'd like to just ask around, what topics do you guys want to cover? What are some of the areas we haven't covered? Let's cover that today, and I will do it very fast. So it will be there's in the video, but
I have concern questions about if someone asks me to build an app application, and I don't want to use the error code or state implementation.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the options can I choose?
Okay, deploying an app without to your own host, right?
Yes.
Okay, so these are our requests. Let's see how much we can finish today. And what else? Give me another request.
How about JavaScript animation?
Okay, using JavaScript, maybe include JavaScript front-end libraries, right? Front-end libraries and framework. Okay, what else? There's one that you guys all need to know when you work in a real company, you all run into. Okay, there's also RESTful API. Good. Good. Keep with the questions coming, guys. Huh?
Scale for mobile API.
Scale?
For API for mobile.
So is it RESTful or?
Yeah, it's a RESTful, but scale like for the screen for mobile.
Oh, okay. So screen for mobile. That's just the view, right? That's responsive UI. Bootstrap already does that, so you just need to read. This Rails just doesn't care about that. However, it's still a good question. There is a good request. TurboLinks 5 and mobile work well together. So you can, if you build an iOS or Android app, you can actually require this framework, and it's really amazing. Maybe you guys can see. Let me see if there's a YouTube video for that. I would recommend watching that one, and then you will see just how amazing that is. So, TurboLinks 5. Okay, this one, right? This guy, Sam Stevenson, right? He actually gave this talk, so I recommend you guys to watch it. Is to understand the power, just how, and many people don't like TurboLinks, but they prove that TurboLinks, Rails people who use it long enough, many people initially like disable TurboLinks, but then they start to like it. So mobile support, I just put it there. Definitely recommend you watch it. Okay.
Is CSS architecture necessary?
CSS architecture.
Yeah.
CSS. What do you guys think?
Because I have to like see a lot of things about box model.
Okay. So Flexbox. So CSS is pretty simple. What I tell you guys, or normally I tell people, is just put your CSS in different files. Don't put it in one file. Just put in many different files with different logic. Over time, if you don't like something, you just delete that file, right? And you might delete something that you need, but you will discover it. Imagine when you have a big file and you try to clean up, trying to delete, it's very hard. So when you separate it by logic, Rails encourages you to do that. If anything is under Photos controller, Photos view, then put it in photos.scss kind of thing. So CSS, maybe Flexbox model is something that I didn't teach. It's something that you can read, make your layout a little bit easier. You can all just stick with the grid layout that Bootstrap give you. Okay, and of course maybe some of you actually like the material design, right? Stuff. Okay, what else? There's one more. Huh?
React.
Are you sure? So there's one. Yeah. So question so that will be basically including front end and frameworks. So you guys have a question? So I decided to take out React because I don't think it's useful. Things are moving fast. You can learn, and that's React itself is a front end framework. There's just more and more stuff you can learn. If you're not strong as a full stack developer, and you just jump on front end and then you move a lot of MVC from Rails to React, and then extra stuff that deals with React and Angular. It makes you a bad Ruby on Rails developer and a bad front end developer. So be a good full stack Rails person, and then when you feel like I'm comfortable just doing API, feel free to on your own. You can. This is the next level. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time and resources, right? So we decided to take it out. It's cool to teach, but it's just too much Ruby on Rails stuff to teach. But maybe we can try.
Yeah, just one question about how they will resolve new conflict on Git.
Okay, resolve Git, right? So basically, GitHub workflow conflict, handling, right, via Git. Okay, so I think some Leo shared a very good article explaining how to make things work. But my this is that one. Take some time to read it. There's 2 steps to make solving conflicts easy. Okay, 2 steps to it. One is that you have to have a good workflow. You don't want everyone to push to the same. So make it easy to merge. It means avoiding conflicts in the first place, right? So principle number 1, avoid conflicts, right? Principle number 2 is know how to resolve conflicts. Who here have had to resolve conflicts in your team? Raise your hands. Is it fun? Well, step number 3 is try to enjoy it. Yeah? I always enjoy it. If you have any problem, just come to me. I throw away this commit, bring it back. And this is easy. When I merge, when I teach the iOS class, when you resolve the conflicts in the storyboard and just like all XML file that they generate, it's a nightmare. Because unlike the web, right, mobile, they actually put the elements in absolute coordinates. Like, dimension is 257, and then on the other, device, this person built the app and it's like 247, and then you're like, which one are you using? And then each component in the view has a different ID with the interface builder, and you're like, okay, it got renamed. But if you change the ID, the code will crash because it's referring to the other ID. It's more complicated in iOS and Android, but in general, because they have more generated files that come with it. However, right, if you enjoy it, you're like, oh, okay, why is this conflict, a problem? Okay, so this is more a little bit advanced because we can't, it's something that you have to use every day anyway. But as in order to teach this, then we need a more advanced project as an example, right? Okay, so Git flow, make sure you read this, but what I don't like is that a lot of people go straight to the to the Git workflow. Git workflow that people use is this crazy. If you look at the images, right, they have something called. Let me just show you guys. Can you see this image? Okay, you see, this is what people do in the real world with a big company, right? And so where's the master branch? It's like, okay, maybe master branch is, they have too many branches, they don't even show you the master branch. What they're saying is, every time you work on a new feature, work on something, you need to work on a different branch. Yes, that's correct, right? When you work on more than one person, team, please do not just push to master. Right? Try to have that nice discipline. It's okay if you do it. You're more advanced. But then you have to deal with the consequences. So, okay, this guy say, there's one guy who came up with this, and a lot of people like it. Create a develop branch, and master is only for something that's stable, right? Production users using it. And then this guy say every time you do a feature, just create a feature / something branch. And that way you can work on this feature 1/1, feature /2. You can write a long branch name, but it's under feature slash. And then there's some other people say, hey, what about hotfix or bug fix? Then you create like hotfix slash and then bug fix slash, right? And then you also, usually this is a tag. When you release software, you like tag version 1, 2, 3. So these are tags are similar to branch. It's just a snapshot. It's a name. It's the name is similar to the hash. Basically, these names allow you to do git checkout, right? Git checkout 1.0, right? Git checkout, feature 2. So this may not be, this may be a little complicated for you, because how many times is your develop different from master? Right? You work on something, just check out master to a different branch and work on it, right? How many times you're working on more than one feature at a time? Not really. Finish your feature quick, merge into master, and continue. That's your small project. You want to be agile, right? You don't want to plan and then you work on this feature. It's like, hey, I'm going to work on another feature now. By the way, I have 4 features in 4 different branches. Can you check this out? And then later you have more merge conflicts, right? So the first step to resolving merge conflict, GitHub flow, GitHub people are like, let's simplify this. So they say there's a GitHub flow that is much more lightweight. If you read this, it's very useful. What it's saying is you understand when you work on something, right? Just create a branch and name it anything you want, okay? And then you make changes like this. So you create a branch. This is your master. Create a branch, right? Add commits. Commit very often. Add a new model, commit, do something, commit, and then commit.
How to report?
Commit is using git reset. If you want to revert a particular commit and do it and then revert, that's okay. A lot of times you just need to say git reset and the name of this hash. It will rewind your code there, but it leaves you the change. Ask me again when maybe I can show you, for example, okay, let me just show you real quick. Remember what project we had last time? What's last week project? The chat app or one room, right? So one room, okay, this one, week 6. So let's say right now I git status, I have so many things in here, right? And what is it? I was just doing a lecture and I show you guys how to use Maildown to do markdown template for email. I show you guys how to use letter opener, right? And what if I want to merge something on master and I just dirty my master, right? I made it dirty. Okay, look at this, right? And if I don't want to type git pull, it would say, oh, you have changes, you cannot pull. So I can still say, hey, note that I have origin, right? That's my GitHub. I say, hey, GitHub, let's see what's up on GitHub. Is anything new? Did someone push anything? So there's nothing new, okay? Because no one really pushed to my repo. But if it is, it will fetch the master branch over there to my origin/master branch locally. When you do git pull, it just basically also call it get the origin/master, and then it also call git merge origin/master into your current master branch. Does that make sense? So usually with master, you don't want to push up, right? So let's say I have it dirty here, okay? And let's say I don't care about all of this. How do I throw them all away?
Git reset.
I can add all of them, okay? Don't make this a habit. You lose this forever. You just say git reset hard and then all of that is gone. Okay? That's one way. If you want to throw it, but throw it to trash, how do you do it? I say git stash and it just throw it away, but it's in my stash. It's like a trash can. So I can go to a different branch. Let's say Harley. I just create a new branch there. And I want to work from here, okay? And I want that mail down and letter opener thing from last time. So I say git stash, apply. it will bring all the changes back from me. Right? However, let's say in this case, if you want to play with anything, don't play it on master, keep master like that. So I'm already on Harley branch, right? Let's say if you want to revert, let's say I want to throw away everything until the time I deploy to Heroku, right? Okay, I want to see. Okay, so what to do now? I'm not gonna care about all of this. I'll just get reset all of them. Reset heart. Okay, remember the heart. It throws away everything. Okay. Okay, done. All gone. Now git log again. Let's say I wonder what this commit is about. The commit that basically the new thing since the last time I deployed to Heroku. Okay. You can revert this commit. For example, I added this thing and it breaks something. You can revert it. So you can say git revert this commit. When you call revert commit, it creates another commit that revert that commit. It's useful if you want to revert this commit over here and then apply it. Okay? But it's not as often. Sometimes I normally do this. So you keep revert. When your commit is small, you can revert them. Makes sense, right? This commit over here, like at Redis, URL. I don't know what I did there, but maybe it's simple. It breaks something and there's a typo. I can revert it. Let's say I want to show you. Last time I deployed to Heroku, so I want to go there. Obviously, you can type git diff, prod./master, or you can say what have I done since then, right? Or you can copy this hash. It's the same thing. So I say git diff. Remember, right now my repo is clean. I can say git diff blah and say, oh, that's what I did, right? But what if I made a typo here and I want to change something in here? You can create a new commit, or you can fix this commit. So one more time, log. I go back to this one. Instead of reverting this commit, lecture 6 here, I can say git reset to this commit over here. Okay? Yeah? And if you say hard, then obviously my Harley branches go back to that one. No history whatsoever, right? If you just don't do hard, okay? And when you do this, it uncommit. So I git log. I go back to this whitelist thing, right? See that? But now it's as if, right? I haven't committed this guy. So now I can do something about it. Does that make sense? Now I can make some more changes and I commit. Of course, if I commit a new branch now, you will never see this commit again in this tree. Because I just go back. Well, I do this a lot if if I need to rework certain branch. So that's how you undo a commit. Does that make sense? Huh? Any question about that? Okay, so what's the difference? So let's say, remember I lost this one, so I already reset, so I can, I'm just gonna commit this again. Okay, so that's I'm gonna commit that. I say redo. Okay, all right. So if you want to reset, revert. So let's say if I want to revert this commit, you see, when you revert, it create another commit and commit that one. Do you really want to do that? It's like almost when you so git revert is like you use your pen and you cross out what you write, and then you write something underneath. It's like change it. Git reset is like you use your eraser and then you erase it and you write something else. Revert is good to tell everyone else in the world that, hey, I revert this change. Reset is basically, no, I just changed, right? I don't tell anyone. But if you push to master, if you reset on master and you push, it will say conflict, right? Then some of you say, I force it, And if you force push on master, it will overwrite, and then all your friends will not be able to pull your code. Then they have to force pull, right? And force pull is more difficult than force push. Okay? Force pull means removing your local master branch and then using the one up there. That one's a little harder to understand. So you will run into problems. Some of you will be like, oh my god, my master is so different from GitHub master. That's why GitHub say, don't try to do anything crazy. Check out any branch anytime you work on something here. I hope that I answered the question. Yeah, like for this one here, you can reset and go back here. If you call revert, it will create another commit and add here, but that just undo the code. Okay, so for example, down here, it say revert sure. So now if you go look at git log, you see you have a revert. Okay, so what happens? You work on the add feature, and then next is when you're done, push that branch and open a pull request. That makes sense? And then your friend can just hit the GitHub merge button. And your other friend can create another pull request, but just check out from master and work on feature. You hit the merge button, you hit the merge button. If you divide the features well, Git is smart enough to merge the file changes, even though you change the same file. In some cases, it say I cannot merge. Then you have to merge yourself. Yeah? And you can check out the branch and then you merge. Unfortunately, I'm not prepared today to answer that question by, but I can help any of you if you have a merge conflict, right? To teach that, I have to create pull request 1, pull request 2, and then pull request 2 has some conflicts with pull request 1, and I'll show you how to resolve that. But hopefully you can ask me with your project, okay? So after pull request, what happens? Before you click the merge button, you have to carry on a conversation, so discuss, right? And then when you discuss, other people, the person who create the pull request, push more commits. Does it make sense? Hey, thanks for deleting this column in user table, but what about the other column? Can you add it? Or, hey, sorry, can you please undo this change? This person can maybe add a revert commit here. This person can add a new commit that do something. Can you add more tests? Sure, I did that. Okay? And then after a while, this pull request looks really good. Then you just hit the merge button. And GitHub does it for you. It merge and also create a new commit that say, GitHub will just say, hey, new commit that say, hey, merge pull request number 5. That's a meta commit. That commit is just something that allows you to merge the different trees together. So it might be an empty commit, right? But it's just to indicate to you that you're merging a bunch of these commits over. Okay. There are settings that allow you to flatten them, and then you don't see that merge thing. But usually that's not a good idea because you don't know, right? If you go here, you go to the next one, and then when you merge, some people just merge these two, go flat on the one tree, and then you don't see the merge commit. But GitHub say, hey, use the merge button 1, 2, and then the merge button will point them back. That's called a merge pull request commit. Make sense? Then, as soon as you merge on master, GitHub allows you to add a setting, or on Heroku, you can set it whenever you merge to master, it automatically deploy to Heroku. That's kind of nice, right? Just merge. So, okay? So sometimes people want to merge and then try it locally first. It's okay. Again, your project is simple. This is enough. So what it means by deploy here is that your master, after you merge it in, boom, right? It just go on to deployment. Don't keep too many branches. There's no reason if your team, you have 3 people and then you have 10 branches. Something is wrong with your planning, right? Keep it like under 5. A person keep it so it's fast, so each person can keep track of what's going on. You may already have 10 branches, that's okay. We all learn, right? And you try you try this style and think that you're excellent engineers. That's okay. All right, 12 branches. This is it, right? And another thing is in GitHub, after you merge, GitHub can actually show you all the branches that have been merged, and you can just delete them. Keep it clean. Okay? And there's a trick. If you type git branch, it lists all the local branches. Okay? If you git branch dash a, it keeps all the, these are the guys when you do git fetch or git pull, they put them in this origin slash thing here, and then you can merge, right? If your friend, let's say this is my branch Harley, and then you actually push commit to a branch called sign up, right? Then I can say git fetch, right, origin, and then I can say git merge origin slash sign up because I want to merge your branch into mine, and then I push it as a new pull request. Maybe. Or you want to work on different branch and then you merge yourself. But again, if you read this flow, isn't it easier than this flow? And this flow is recommended by a company that, that have hundreds of millions of users. So they have no problem, right? Okay. So I think we did a little discussion around Git stuff. Any other question? Let's try to solve other. Where's my lecture note? This one right here, right? Okay. Anything else you guys can think of? There's one more. I think some of you have already started using nested form. Yeah? Nested form is when things get pretty crazy. Because Rails give you accepts nested, what's that? Nested attributes for. And when your project becomes big, this is a terrible idea. But when it's small, it's a wonderful idea. It's just harder to keep track of. Too much magic. Okay? So it's good to know as well.
I meant the harder situation that we had wizard form.
Yeah.
This means we had 5 steps.
Okay. Widget, yeah? Yeah. Yeah, so what do you use?
In the beginning, I want to use the form.
Yeah.
But step on the server and check the validity.
Mm-hmm.
And go to the next step.
Mm-hmm.
To complete this.
Okay, multi-step forms.
What I faced and for my situation, I come up with a solution to use the button form object. It means you have an object, right? You include active model validate, and it just include validation. So you remove all the validation from your model. Okay?
Yeah.
And you create. So you have 3 steps, right? And each step you have an object.
Okay.
Object will include some validation method of active record, and you will have validate blah 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 blah.
Yeah, so separating the logic between the model, right, and the form. And Rails doesn't do this, but if you use Django asks you to use form objects. So what Gwen said is actually the idea of form objects. When the user sign up, let's say you have a form object called sign up. It's like a model, right? It's an object, sign up. And in there, there's this one field called email, one field called password, and one method called validate. That's it. You don't put that in user model. You don't put that in, you don't have a complicated controller. Same thing with multi-step. You can have a step 1 model, step like search flight model. Step 2 is like booking model, and in that model you can have access to multiple objects. When you spend more time with Rails, you learn this. If I teach this in the intro to Rails class, people will say I'm crazy, because then all of you will hate me because it will be very difficult to think. So there's one that's very, very popular. It's called Reform, and there's just people have built a lot of libraries like this. So the idea is that they provide you from objects, so you can wrap your complicated object around it. So let's say if you want to create an album, instead of putting it in the album, this is a music app, right? An album model, you keep the model very clean, and then it talks to the album's table in the database. But then you can say album form, and then you just declare one column here, and you say this is validation. It looks weird, right? Like that, but it's easier. So Actually, one, I'm sure you used the dry stuff recently, right?
Just you active recall validate.
Yeah. So if you don't have to worry about the DIY libraries. There are just a lot of them. That's a new movement that people like to use with Ruby. And that's okay. You don't have to worry about them. Active record give you active model and it'll handle validation stuff. So you can just say, imagine you create a form object. It looks like that. Okay, and then you can actually declare validation the same way. It automatically wrap your album object. Things get more complicated, and that's when if in your case of multiple widget, that's one way to do it. Okay. So there's another type of form which is multi-step form. Some people have different approaches, but here's one. So this guy come up with a way. He works at Heroku. Come up with a way that turn your it to provide step-by-step form action. It remember when's the first step, second, and then the last step, and it asks you to provide one action for each step, controller action. So let's say if you include this gem, and then you can have multiple steps. It's called a wizard, right? Like the experience. So you guys can check that out. Okay, different step you can check them by in the controller. Okay, so for example, when you sign up, there's a confirmation step over here. Or like after you sign up, a lot of websites you say find friends, right? Hey, please invite these people because you're creating a social network. For example, your book app. Before people finish the sign up step, you actually want them to add a few people friends. Try sign up for Twitter. The sign up process is multiple steps. When you book tickets on the airline website that you're building, also choose the destination, but later maybe you say find a hotel or find seats. So this is if you want to make it more complicated, support more complicated stuff. It's good. So the good thing is that they also have the video. All right, so you can check that out. I recommend for multi that is Wicked. Okay. Let's see what we can do today. We do a little final demo thing, and demo will be fast, but please, for the last time, please stop me and ask questions. Don't be shy, okay? So let's see if we can build this in 15 minutes. Okay, I lied. It won't be 15 minutes. But here's this app. It's a simple app, but it contains many complicated logic in it. Hopefully, if I build this with you, then we cover a lot of the topics we lay out here. So I have an app that's called the Survey app, similar to Google Forms. Okay, so here is the title. I'm using Bootstrap, and then I use Material Design just for fun, right? Adding this, so I can add any of this title. I change it. I press Enter. It's saved immediately. I have 3 types of question. So what's your name? This is a short answer question, so the person will just enter that. Does that make sense? What's your favorite color? So what are some colors? Red, right? Blue, and then we put in one's favorite color, pink. All right, so it's like super fast. You add this one more, right? And then you say this is my checkbox's answer. So who do you love?
One.
Yes, Quân, Kang,
Ali.
and Quân and Kang. I don't know. All right, and then so imagine I have that, and then now you have a survey, right? And you can take it. So say, hey, before you take the survey, you have to know that I'm collecting your data. Don't sue me. Don't please let me use your data. Okay, I agree. And then it looks like this. What's your name? I say my name here. My favorite color is not pink. Sorry, Quan. And then who do I love? See, this is how I stay out of trouble. I just put both of them in here. So I submit, right? And then you can add more to it. And then let's take another one, right? Take another one. Say what's my name now? Valentine. Valentine like ping, and then like Guan. So both of them like ping. And then you can actually see the responses, right? The responses so far, okay? And actually, that was a checkbox. I should have, should be able to tick 3 of them. You see this? Checkbox. Yay! Like them separately. But this time, okay, I have Alex. And so you see that you display the responses this way. And you can also see the charts of responses. Uh-oh. So it will look like this, similar to Google Forms. This used like you can use Google Charts API or something. But okay, let's see if we can build that in 1 hour. Do you think it's possible?
I believe in you.
No, this is like as hard as your final project, man. Maybe you can't do it in 1 hour, but we'll see. All right, are you ready? Let's take a break and then 2 minutes and we'll build this app. Okay? We'll plan it together before we build it.